Our season is such a grind. It's a perfect time, you know, in the season to get out here, take a break, chill out, enjoy the outdoors for, you know, 3 or 4 days here before you go to the next race. I mean, this time of year, you just can't wait for it, you know. Everybody looks forward to the summer. You can't wait to get, you know, some of those summer tracks that we go to and you know, enjoy the passion of racing. But holy cow, after that grind all summer long, you know, you only have maybe one off weekend. It feels good to get out here, actually have a jacket on. I'm not pouring sweat in a race car. I'm out here drinking a cup of coffee and enjoying it.
West Central Montana is a mix between the cattle plains to the east and the mountains to the west, and some of the best elk habitat on the planet. Bryan and Emrich from Peak Antifreeze and NASCAR driver Clint Bowyer are about to find this out firsthand. They head out together, bows in hand. Right about now, they're both hoping there are enough elk to go around. Trust me, there are.
Good luck. Good luck. Clint Bowyer. I think he's a NASCAR driver or something like that, right, Race? You are a guide, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Well, this is my first trip out. Another bugle.
Listen.
Nice.
Did you hear that? They're bugling. It's on. Let's go.
So Clint only has about 300 more yards before he's into elk.
This is a good spot right here. We can sneak through this. There's a big bedding area right there that you can move through real easy. But let's go down in there and see what's going on. Come on, guys, just do it.
He's right there.
You know, you live for that. And, you know, people don't realize how cool that is to see and hear and to watch those animals. You know, the bulls running around rutting and fighting and I mean, you just, that view and that experience is something that you can't explain and deliver to somebody when you go home.
These guys will be right back here tomorrow. Now, if you remember, our hunting partners, Clint Bowyer and Bryan Emrich, split up for the afternoon.
Good luck.
Let's take a look at how Bryan's afternoon went. Just like Clint's hunt, it wasn't too long before Bryan was also into elk. But these guys had a plan on how to move into them.
How would we make a stalk on him? We would come down here, go on the other side of on all that brush. Yeah, we got down to that. We got down to that yellow brush. This side of that yellow brush is, you would be 80 yards from him. This side of that yellow brush.
So Bryan's able to make a move. Once he gets into position, he realizes there's much more going on here than he originally thought. There are a lot of eyes out there, but the fellas seem to be hid pretty good. More importantly, the wind is right in their face.
Moving away. Let's be patient. Do you think there's any chance I could get over and go down in the ground with him over there? Here he comes. He's coming to push her. If he comes on this side, we should be in better shape, but... All right, big guy. He's walking this way. He's still pretty far, but... Yep, he's coming good.
It's rare to see this many big bulls together with all of these cows during the peak of the rut. Something has got to give. One of these big guys is going to show someone who's boss. That distraction might be all Bryan needs for a shot.
How far? I can't move.
"60 yards is as close as they came." That's just a little too far. For NASCAR driver Clint Bowyer, this is the perfect way to hit the reset button between races.
This weekend you're going 200 mile an hour in front of 100,000 fans, you know, and pulled every which way. Our season is such a grind. It's a perfect time, you know, in the season to get out here, take a break, chill out, enjoy the outdoors for, you know, 3 or 4 days here before you go to the next race. You know, I'm a kid from Kansas, grew up in Kansas, flat ground. You come out here and it's just, I mean, it's truly like a picture hanging on the wall. Every single angle you look around here. And then you're out here for an elk hunt. We are fighting swirling wind conditions at the moment. This wind is so wrong.
Once again, the guys are in elk. And once again, how do you get into range?
There's no way they're catching our scent. They're not really looking this way. I don't know what's got them buttered. I don't think there's any way our wind is getting there. I don't know, man. The cows are freaking out. They're not getting our wind because these bulls that are close to us aren't. They're just freaking jacked up. There's a bull standing down there. Check it out. You see him?
Getting out here on the mountaintop and looking over, and there's a herd of elk over there, you know, and there's 8 shooters, without a doubt, monster giant elk over there. You know, people don't realize how cool that is to see and hear and to watch those animals. You know, the bulls running around rutting and fighting, and I mean, you just, that view and that experience is something that you can't explain and deliver to somebody when you go home.
That's our shot. It's going up there and around that side of that thing.
Coming out here and just getting away and enjoying, you know, everything Montana has to offer, getting out in the woods, getting up early. People don't realize how cool that is. You don't get that anywhere else.
If they were here, we could hear them. Good way to start, don't worry.
The hardest thing about bow hunting, it's one thing to find them. You know, a lot has to go right to get in a good position and make a good shot on a bull. You know, you travel clear to Montana, you want to be here as long as you can. Unfortunately, with the racing world, you got a lot of people that are counting on you to be somewhere. That somewhere is New Hampshire for me this weekend, so you can see here major fog. You can't see much of anything. You know, to get on these bulls, you got to kind of get up high and be able to glass down and look around. And obviously, you can't do that.
Not all of us lead the adrenaline-filled lifestyle of a NASCAR driver. But no matter who you are, we all need a break from our professional lives once in a while.